Recently, there's been a lot of talk about the cost of healthcare. There's a debate going on right now at the federal level for ACA subsidies, and we even had Governor Walz come out and talk about why the cost of healthcare is Donald Trump's fault. Go figure. But part of my job as a state legislator is to look at what factors are actually increasing the cost of private health insurance in Minnesota. I was on the Commerce Committee this last session. I anticipate being on it for years to come. And we're at a fulcrum point right now across the country and in Minnesota where we're going to have to determine what healthcare actually looks like. If we want to keep a private system of health insurance and covering people and making sure that even our rural communities have hospitals that are still open, we have to encourage competition in order to bring down costs. And the thing we have to look at on the state side is what are we piling on legislatively that makes the barrier to entry into health insurance competition higher and harder. Don't take this video as me defending big health insurance companies. That is certainly not my intention and not my heart when it comes to legislating. However, there are unintended consequences which lead to ballooning costs in healthcare that the state does have control over. Now, when you take a look at the way that health insurance works, you are one of many. Anything that impacts an individual in the pool of insurance impacts everybody when it comes to cost. And if insurers are forced to cover more things for everybody, even if those people don't use those things, well, then the cost for the whole body is ballooned. Over the past several years, our legislature has imposed more and more mandates on private health insurance. So again, we find ourselves in the worst of all worlds, where we have a private provider, but then we have the handcuff of government dictating what they can and can't provide depending on the patient. Again, we have numerous examples that are here, 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 which even in this last session includes things like abortion care as a mandate or genome sequencing as a mandate. And we need to kind of take a step back and ask, is this right to have this many mandates on a whole population of healthcare users when that might not be the best fit for the individual? And I talked earlier about how private market competition is what brings down costs. And every time we as the legislature place a new mandate on insurance companies, the massive insurance companies are the ones who can absorb that cost and navigate that cost. And it increases the barrier to entry higher and higher and higher to actually get into the market and provide a profitable service that brings down costs for everybody. So as we move forward in the legislature, we need to take a real look at what is being mandated across that whole insurance pool, even if the vast majority of people don't use it. We used to have a high-risk pool in Minnesota pre-Obamacare that served people who were in dire circumstances who may not have been able to afford health care, and we did it better than most states. So we need to have a real look this next session and beyond about what we're mandating insurance companies to do. Because I think oftentimes we think of insurance companies as the ones that exist currently, the consolidation of power, the consolidation of money, and those are the companies that can navigate these regulations. What we're actually hurting is new entries into the market, new competition, innovative ways of thinking about health insurance, because the mandates that we placed as a health insurance provider are crushing that opportunity and crushing potential new competition which could come in and help bring down healthcare costs. So don't be distracted by Obamacare subsidies. That seems to be the headline grabbing thing. Instead, ask your legislator what they are doing to practically bring down healthcare costs.